what's going on with you? To put it in as layman terms, like obviously, you said you've been doing the music thing since 2003.
Well, actually, 1999, obviously first, because So I started singing when I was always wanted to sing professionally when I was 18, but I was Catholic trained when I was 15. But
You
then from
did
there
opera in it and stuff. Huh? You did opera.
Yeah, but don't ask me to do nothing now because it's not. Yeah, like yeah. But so my first proper gig was with Shanks and Bigfoot. Do you guys remember Shanks and Bigfoot?
Yeah, of course.
So I didn't do Sing Sweet Like Chocolate though, so this is why it's so annoying. It was like, did you Sweet Like Chocolate? No, I didn't do that one. No, that wasn't it. But I did the rest of the album. And we did Top of the Pops, went to number 12 and all that, did all the festivals, and I was about 19, 18 when I did that. But then I was with management at the time. I didn't really understand me, and I was just excited to sing, so I would do anything. Yeah. But I just started to realise, I was like, you know what? No one is really understanding who I am, and I don't even know really what I wanted to do. So I ended up going to the States, and I was only meant to go for a week. I just disappeared, and it didn't come up for a month. Yeah, and then I ended up going. I was meant to get signed to Elektra, to Magic Johnson's label or Def Jam. But then 9/11 happened, and I was meant to get signed in New York. But 9/11 happened, so I couldn't fly back out to New York. It was like, because I meant to have a meeting on the 13th, but 9/11 happened. Wow. So then we had a meeting, when someone made a phone call to London and said, yo, we got this girl from over here, man. Y'all need to see her. And then the guy, Jaha, who signed me, was like, how y'all go all the way over there? And I've been here. And then next minute, I got signed to Def Jam UK. And then it was me, Taz. Do you remember Aaron? Yeah, Taz was signed. Aaron Soul. Do you remember Aaron Soul?
Yep.
Ring.
Yeah.
You guys are too young for that. You're very
No, I went Urban Music Festival a couple times.
But you must have been 2.
No.
10.
No.
11.
I was like 15, 16 when I went.
Yeah, that's
Urban.
the same thing. Yeah. But for me at the time, so as you said, this whole thing with social media, you really had to be about your shit as well. You had to be good. You had to know what you was doing. You had to be able to know how to work a stage. Do you know what I mean? So, the areas of me, the Stells, the social media, that was all a different era. And obviously, what happened with me, the label, is that they tried to then, the first album got all the critical acclaim, and the Mercury Music Prize, the Mobos, everyone was talking about it, but what happened was it was a bit too, I don't know, at the time maybe a bit too real, a bit too urban for them. Then obviously Jamelia was doing really well, and Beyonce.
We're going to get into that.
So they tried to turn me into, when I think, talk about that video! Every time I see that video, that's one of the reasons why after that I decided I'm never ever going to allow anybody to tell me what to do. So I left the label, I remember shaving off all my hair, dyeing it blonde for some reason, but it turned out orange. I was trying to find myself, okay? It was a very different period. But then I started to realise, you know what? As much as I'm black and I do R&B, I'm very rock and roll. Like I'm not really trying to be the next R&B or the next whatever. I'm trying to be me, because I grew up in Germany from the age of 4 until I was 18. But then I was in London, but I'm around reggae, I'm around hip hop, I'm around everything. So I thought, I need to find who Terri Walker is. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up being in New York with Dame Dash for 3 years. I was with Salam, Remy. Obviously, I'm always still with Salam. We speak every morning. Then I was obviously with
Light Flex.
Huh?
Light Flex.
Yeah, but you know what though? You know what it is? It's like, but you know what it is? Like how you lot are sitting here right now and you're talking. It's like it's no different. It's like as long as you know what you're doing and you trust yourself, you have an opinion. You're allowed to have an opinion. No one can tell you, oh, you don't like Nas. Why don't you like Nas? The whole point. I'm like that when I used to be around Dame. I used to be like, what? And everyone would look at me like, you can't talk to them like that. I'm like, why? Because remember, we're from England, we don't care, innit? Like, we don't care about this. And a lot of people in America, they have this whole hierarchy shit. Like, so I don't care how many records you sold.
You're just another person.
If you're a dickhead, you're a dickhead, innit? It doesn't matter who you are. No, that's the truth. But it's over there, it's like, oh my God, it's Dame. And I'll be like, and I sometimes, because I'll be there, I'll be drunk, and I'm like, Dame, whatever, shut up. And then I'm like, oh,
you can't talk to him like that.
But Dame at the same time is a G. But he's just a G that sometimes doesn't understand how to talk to people. So
I think his communication style rubs people up the wrong way, and understandably so at times.
Listen, I've seen him talk to people sometimes like, yo, if you ever spoke to me that way, do you know what I mean? But I guess sometimes it is a thing where, it's like, until someone checks you, and a lot of people won't, because a lot of people are frightened and scared, and a lot of people want to be a part of something, and I think that's why a lot of things, I think sometimes even things that started go wrong because people are not honest to say, that's bullshit, or. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's about you not being able to have an opinion, but not feel like you can agree to disagree. It's fine.
Yeah, 100%.
So my career's been one of those careers where I've managed to be in so many different rooms and I'm respected by so many people. But again, I have too much of an opinion, so sometimes you might not see me in certain things because they know don't even bother calling me because I'm not gonna entertain it. I'm not
non-conformist.
I'm not. I really am not, and not on purpose though. It's just literally just in my DNA. I can't help it.
That's what I was gonna ask, because when your name comes up,
Yeah.
your name is mentioned in the same breath as people like Omar. And
I can't.
you know, just UK soul singers in general. Like, I think there's a lot of people that are like quite highly respected, but are seen as maybe not hitting some of the heights they should have.
Yeah.
And you see some of the quotes about artists in general. Like, I always use Omar as an example because everybody loves Omar.
Everybody.
There's not anybody that has a bad word to say about Omar, especially musically. But if you think about where his music's gone, he's never really been like a mass chart topper throughout his career. He's had all of the respect, all of the critics, plaudits, everything like that. And some of the quotes I've seen have been mad. But it's like, I don't know, with the UK stuff, we're not, I don't know. I guess we don't get to where we could sometimes, I think. And there's always varying reasons for it. But the reason I say with you is like, you've had obviously large gaps between your albums. You've had many label situations, independent situations. Your music has changed massively throughout all of these projects as well. But like, you're still here and still respected with it as well.
But you know, I was thinking it's funny when you talk about the whole Omar thing. It's like we had this conversation one time on another podcast, and I was listening in and this one guy was like, no artist, I'm not going to mention his name, but he was like, yeah, man, because us, if we're flying the British flag, you get me. And we're like, what? How are you flying the British flag? He said, yeah, because, you know, we're the first ones that, you know, from England, we're doing our thing. He didn't realise that Soul to Soul were English. He didn't realise that Sade was English. He didn't know that Owen was English. He didn't know that Misha Parrish was English. He thought that these people were all American. So he's thinking that, yeah, we're the first ones. And first of all, you guys have hit here, but you've not done that well. So when people talk about Omar, D'Angelo and Erykah Badu and India.Arie, they're talking about before we did what we did, Omar did what he did. Misha Parrish did what she did, Soul to Soul. So when people sometimes say that we haven't hit the heights, I get it, because obviously when it comes to media in that sense, but the fact is for us, if the people that we see are influencing the rest of the world are saying that they heard us first, and that's what it means. I think, but to the obviously to people that don't know, it's like, oh, they haven't made it yet. To us, that don't mean shit. To us means, yo, what? D'Angelo thinks.
I agree with that.
No, but that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. I've read about people before, and they're talking about UK artists, and they like respect everybody so much. And it's kind of like, if you're talking about somebody like D'Angelo, it's like, yeah, I love Omar, I love Soul to Soul.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I love this person, and it's like,
wow.
Like,
we have
and
a
I was
lot
gonna
of
say
artists
as well,
like
like I feel like as an artist, it must be a bit annoying sometimes when people say, "Oh, you should be so much bigger than you are," and you're like, I mean, I feel like I'm doing okay.
I got a point about that. So there's an artist from Washington called Odyssey.
You've heard of him.
Odyssey is a rapper and a producer. He used to be in Low Budget with Kev Brown and a couple other Washington artists. Very, very dope rapper and producer. He kind of, his style changed when he left that crew or whatever, but he's sick, and he's been doing his thing independently for maybe 7-8 years at this point. And he put out a project called A Tangible Dream, and he put out, and his explanation of it is that people always tell me I should be in bigger places, I should be in this room with this person, my music should sell this much or should sell that much. He was like, but I do what I do, I make a living out of it, I tour however many hundreds of days out of a year, and I do everything independently. I sell my own merch, I do this. He's like, I make a good living off of music. So how are you to tell me where I should and shouldn't be? And he's like, I'm loving my life.
And
like,
I think as fans, sometimes when we see somebody that we think is just amazing, it's not even that what we mean when we say it is everybody needs to know.
Want everybody to
everybody needs to know how amazing you are. But to an artist, that feels like, actually, I'm in a good space and I'm doing amazingly and I'm achieving everything that I want to. Somebody else telling me, oh, one day people are going to wake up. One day people are going to...
What are they?
And it's like, wait, what? Am I not doing it now?
But you know what the funny thing is, you lot say that, like, maybe like 2-3 years ago, that did used to irritate the hell out of me. I was just so underrated. I'm like, if you said this one more fucking time.
And it's like, you feel like you're rated.
I'm like, what are you talking about? Look how many things I fucking done. Do you know what I mean? But it's funny because even when Amy used to be alive, Amy used to come up to me and she used to do interviews and be like, why is Terri Walker? Why were these people not, getting mentioned? And this is Amy Winehouse. Do you know what I'm saying? And she's everywhere. Every time she'd see me, she'd be like, oh, like she, like, like in the way, like she felt a bit guilty, like, oh man, I shouldn't be here.
Yeah, I'm here.
But I'm like, babe, no. That's what I think. From there, I realized it's not about the people. It's about It's about us, the artists, to make sure that I keep talking about you. The reason why I'm still here is because my peers Children of Zeus, they still talk about me. The Cherry V's, you know, the Omars, whatever else. That's the reason why I'm still relevant. If they didn't talk about me, the public wouldn't know.
On that note, I didn't know about the Champagne Flutes album until Connie posted it.
Really? Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that's when you started tweeting.
Yeah.
I followed
and I
you
was
then.
like, oh, let me listen to this. I was like, yo, this is sick.
Yeah.
Like, because obviously I've always known the name and listened to your music over the years.
Yeah.
But it was just one of those things where there's so many artists that we always hear, but then we don't hear anything for however long.
Exactly.
Whether it's a case of something doesn't get promoted or something's not even out for a while. Maybe, you know, an artist goes back and puts something on Bandcamp, but it's not on a streaming site or there's whatever it is. So I heard that and I was like, oh yeah, that's Terri Walker. This is sick. Where did this come from? And then I noticed you guys had a relationship, and with them as well, they big up all of their people.
Trust me,
I really
They
rate
put
them
me
for
onto
that.
a lot of music, a
like,
lot.
100%.
In terms of artists and bigging up other artists, I respect Children of Zeus so much for that because they do not stop.
They don't
talking
stop.
about the artists that they respect.
Shed the light in it.
Yeah,
no,
like, and I rate them so much for it because in that I've come onto artists or I've come onto
KSR.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people that we have began to embrace because of them.
Thank you.
And I
we
love
just
that.
had Juggernaut on the last episode,
Juggernaut, see?
and that was through obviously Children of Zeus.
And I think for me, and I think what was nice for me, obviously when I put out the album entitled, there's a song on there called Lose Twice, and they were saying to me, you know what, that's the song that made us make that album. So when I listen to the album, I'm like, the album from beginning to end for me is madness.
Yeah,
They did it from when just a little more, and even when he said, what did he say? What does Tyler said something about? Fuck the hand that was dealt, you fuckers didn't see the hand that just played. Oh, when he said that, I was like, fuck off, Tyler. Like, I had to keep, and I'd call him, sorry guys, I swear, like, I had to call him and say, yo, are you taking the fucking piss? Because I know exactly what he meant, because there's a amount of times when people are like, oh, but you should be doing this. But there's a reason why I didn't do that. Because in the long run, it's patience.
And I think Tyler is another one of himself that, like, for us, again, here in Children of Zeus, so obviously we always knew him as Hoodman.
Yeah,
so
of course.
We think of Jermaine, and then all the freestyles of the UK team and all of that. There was a few songs like when he did SBTV and stuff like that. But then I didn't know for years. I always kind of wondered what happened to him. Because I always thought, this guy is serious. And I just never really heard anything. And then the first time I heard Children of Zeus, probably about 2.5 years ago now, something like that. I was like, that's Hoodman. So and then it was like, Connie and Tyler Daly, and I hadn't heard of Connie at the time. Yeah. So I went and looked back and I like found stuff on YouTube. I was like, so wait, this guy's actually had music out all of these years.
The whole time.
It's been a good 10 years or so.
Good 10 years.
And I haven't heard any of this.
Exactly.
Like, how the fuck did this slip me by? Like,
but this is why it's done. And because of the fact that you guys are such serious, like you guys are listening, you're paying attention. That's what makes it so. For me, that's what when I'm listening to you talking, I'm like, how do you? Because you guys get it. Because there's some people that just don't get it. Oh, it's not got enough views. You guys understand the process now. There's a different process.
There's definitely two approaches, I think, to music. You have people that just listen to music and kind of like, I like
the casual listener.
And then you have people like us that love music and want to know everything about it. Like, I miss liner notes for albums. I want to know who produced it, who was involved in the writing of it, all that kind of stuff. I want to know everything about it. And especially now where you get so many albums drop on a weekly basis.
Such a microwave.
It's hard to take in all of the music anyway. But then also, people don't big up their producers. You don't know who was involved in the writing. Sometimes you don't even know what label they came up with, or if they're independent. There's just no info. It's just we're flinging this out, and even if it's great music, it's hard to keep up with it. But it's like with them, obviously I heard Still Standing first, and then I heard the rest of the music, a couple other earlier songs.
You sent me something before that, man. The one where he says about the Lego brick.
Oh, Crown.
Crown's
That's the first
amazing.
thing you shared with me.
Yeah, it's the first thing I showed you, lot, but I heard Still Standing first.
Okay.
Shown is absolutely amazing.
But
just saying, Connie, I wouldn't mind that version with the drums. I heard you do it in the shows. But yeah, like I heard that, and then obviously me and Shakira saw them warm up for Tyler Kweli and Mos Def.
Yeah.
At the Truxie. And when we got there, there was probably only like 60, 70 people there because they were on early. They were literally, they were still like cleaning up when they were on stage.
No way.
They did amazing.
And do you know what? The first song or two, people kind of like, by the third song, they had everybody in the venue happy and
Vibes
clapping to the music and
That's what it's
dancing
about.
and whatnot and stuff. And I remember I spoke to them after that, and they were like, "No, that gig was shit." Da, da, da. I was like, "No, but it wasn't. There might have been less than 100 people when you were on stage, but those less than 100 people got in tune to who you were."
Exactly.
And then from that point, I've gone from seeing them there to warming up to doing
He's like the
first word
unofficial member.
record
He's the
birthday
unofficial
parties.
third member of Children of Zeus.
I love it.
I've seen them at the Queen of Hawks and all that, and then we saw them sell out the Jazz Cafe. And everybody in the venue knew every lyric.
Listen,
like,
that night was mad. I remember because I did Manchester and that one as well.
Yeah.
And it was
That's one of my favorite gigs at the Jazz Cafe.
Right?
Like easily.
You know what I think is nice about the audience, even when you go to Manchester, it's the fact that there's young, old,
Yeah,
black, white, yellow.
the crowd is very diverse.
Their crowd is so diverse.
Yes.
So diverse.
When we saw them in Peckham, we were kind of like,
honestly, me and Ash were there like, I don't get the crowd. Like, I don't understand it.
That's what it's supposed to be, because music is supposed to do that. You're not supposed to segregate nothing, you get me? So that's why I love it.
It's absolutely insane. It's so diverse. Like, you get all types of people. Like, but yeah, it's
oh, I love it. I love this conversation. You guys are so dope.
I just wanted to kind of like ask, obviously, you know, the cliche question about your influences and your process of how you make music. Is over the years, has that changed? Or is it still very much the same as when you first was obviously, you know, doing the garage type stuff?
Garage, and this is the thing, I never really did garage. They were always remixes of my tracks. Okay. This is the worst thing.
Yeah, because there's some house remixes.
Yeah,
as well.
and I didn't know I've got a whole world out there. But Terri Walker's this soul house queen. I didn't even know, because obviously I'm but no, my process has definitely changed over the years. It's more that I trust my gut more. Like if I don't feel something, if it's not coming, I won't force it. I won't feel, you know what I mean? I won't even finish it. But for me now, I tried different things for me to get to the point where I could trust myself. So now, even when we did Slingshot Rhythm on Children's Zeus,
love that song.
I literally freestyled that verse, and then the chorus we wrote it. When a night after we did a gig with Goldie, it was me, DRS, and Tyler was just in the studio, and we wrote the hook kind of. Yeah. But then it's always about vibes and feeling for me now, like, because for me, I've done so many different things now at this point. I feel like I need to push myself in a way where I've never done something before. That's where I want to go. Otherwise, I want to keep giving you the same thing.
Yeah.
So my process right now is just trusting the energies around me now, and if whatever makes sense, makes sense. But yeah, it's been a process though. But I'm like, there's points where obviously when I look at like the Whoopsie Daisy song and all that, I'm like, oh, but that had to happen for me to never go back down that road again, ever.
How do you feel about some of the older music? So like some of your early singles, like Back to the Drawing Board was big for a lot of people, and it's still even when you performed at the Jazz Cafe, that got a mad reception. And if I was to mention your name around some people, even like my dad and his missus, like, oh, we got Terri Walker next. What?
Yeah, I know. And I get it.
Back
My
to the
dad
Drawing
loves
Board,
it.
Like, yeah, I love the first album, and that's the first thing that comes to people's mind. How do you still feel about that part of your career?
Do you know what? It's funny because, as I said, Drawing Board, that's when Terri Walker was born in it that whole time, and I didn't even write that one, but you know, the girl that wrote it, she kept asking me questions about, you know, how you know, she just asked me questions about myself, and she wrote that. But I feel great about the first album. I think it's just the only thing I don't feel great about is Whoopsie Daisy. Everything else, it's just that one fucking song, and then that fucking video.
That's not bad. Like,
no, that's not
awful.
It's a bad version of Beyonce's Crazy in Love, and the video as well. And you see me, I'm doing and I had the wig, and my mum was like, "You look like you got a judge's wig on your head." That's what my mum said to me, you know, a judge's wig, because the curl was like, I was thinking, that's rude.
No, she didn't mince her words.
No, my family don't. Remember, I told you I come from a very real family. They're not having it. So this is rubbish. What are you doing? Do you know what I mean? But I love it because it made me grow. Do you know what I mean? Because just because everyone's telling you that it's great, that means I would have never pushed myself. That means if I'm really about this, I wouldn't take that lying down and I'm like, no, I'm coming back for you. And I have, you know. So, but so the only thing I really regret is this. You know, even regret, but it was just a moment of I just wanted to still be there and Whoopsie Daisy. But everything else I'm proud of. I perform it with a, you know, was it with my chest? Sing it with my chest.
Yeah. With Champagne Fleets, how did that come about? Obviously, we know you and Salam are tight and you've done a lot of music over the years as well. But specifically, how did that come about? Because to me, when I think of it, it's like swing, lounge music, kind of like elevator music. Yeah. That's actually, I think, the perfect term for it. How did that come about? Because I wouldn't envision myself listening to music like that. That's the stuff that would be sampled. Like when you hear Camp Lo Lucini, that's sampling elevator music. So you're like, all right, cool. When I heard this, I was like, this is dope. I wouldn't expect to listen to this, but I really, really enjoyed it.
That's why we made it, because I think when Salam met me, he'd hear about me, but he was like, oh, you know, she's just another English artist. He didn't really know about me at the time. And I'd be honest, at the time, I didn't know that much about Salam when I first met him. I just knew Salam met me, okay, whatever. then obviously realizing, oh fuck, he's done all this stuff. I'm like, oh my God, I can't. Like, remember that song, I Wear My Sunglasses Under? Yeah. That's one of my favorite records. And we were talking one time and he said to me, you know, what are your influences? And I was like, you know, one of my favorite records is this. He goes, oh, you know what, I remixed it. I was like, excuse me, what? So we then decided from there on, it's like, we're going to make records. We can do the obvious, you know, I was there when he did most of the Jasmine Sullivan record, when he did Miguel. I was there when he made most of this record. Yeah. But we thought to ourselves, everyone's going to expect me to do the Terri Walker thing. They're going to expect you to do the Salam Remy thing. So he was lucky enough to get samples from, that were just free for him from EMI. And so we used some of those, and then some of them were from scratch. Like Love Extraordinary we did from scratch. Come Over Here we did from scratch. And I think another one, there's a few on there that we just did from scratch. But the other ones are literally samples from old school lounge records. So
yeah, that's what it sounded like.
But the conversation, if you listen to the lyrics, we'd have conversations before and it'd all be about sex. Beer dirtiness.
I kind of gathered it.
Yeah, beer dirtiness.
Kind of gathered.
What was it?
Come over, and I think was it Thieves in
the Night. Yeah, because we were just talking shit. We were just talking shit. Like, yo, so how imagine if you said this in a song? I was like, oh yeah, for real. I was like, you know what I mean? But so it's got that little. I call it sophisticated filth.
That's a good description.
Because it is sophisticated filth. You know what I mean? A bit of champagne, a bit of sexy time. Come on, you know, it's cute.
In terms of like the independent grind, like obviously now we've seen a shift towards streaming.
Yeah.
Like as someone that's messed with labels, not necessarily had bad experiences, but how would you compare the two in terms of what would you say is the advantages of being independent as opposed to being with a label?
Do you know what I think? Once you have your own,
obviously the creative.
Yeah, the creative side of things, you can do what you want. But I think it's what I like about this is it's forced me to find my own audience. Do you know what I mean? Before I was kind of Def Jam turned me into this. Everyone thought I was neo soul in it because of the whole with Mos Def and the way the record was. Now I've allowed people to see that I'm not just one thing. Do you know what I mean? So the streaming thing now, I can have audiences from different. Hence why when you look at Children of Zeus, as you said, their audience is so diverse because of the fact that Tyler's done stuff with Goldie and DRS, but then he's done the hip hop thing, and then you know we've worked together. So I think the streaming thing is great. Only thing is, as you said, you just lose so much money on it. You know, I think it's about live. It's about live shows, and then obviously your publishing. It's just everywhere in it, I guess. But I think it's so much better. But at the same time, it depends. It's different for different artists, if I'll be honest. So I think someone like me, it works better. But I couldn't be told what to do or how not to say something, or you know, to be a bit more.
So it's better that's just out there.
Yeah, for me.
If you're not necessarily making the same off of it, but it's out there for people to listen
to.
I
think for me, people have to grow into me. I think I've noticed that with me. I think some people get some of it straight away, but because of the way that I am physically, and then when you see me and then you hear my music, I say a lot of stuff, but I'm also quite out there, innit? So you have to be part of my journey to understand why I am the way that I am. So that's something that you have to, if you're interested, you have to get to know. Yeah. Some people might be like, oh, but she's a bit off key, innit? She's a bit much, innit? But then I do like this record, but it's like it has to be people with a bit more of an open mind. And I don't mind it because I'm here for it. I'm here for people to see it when they're ready to see it, not me force it down your throat. So
that's a good approach to have to be. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the new project? You've been playing snippets off of it here and there.
You know, it's funny again. So when we're talking about, you know, highlighting people like producers and stuff, I really want people to understand how much of a G Joe Budha is. Like Joe Budha is.
Jugs was just saying the same thing.
Jesus, look, do you understand? So
I didn't realise how much he'd done. I did not know.
Do you understand? So I've got this show called The Melting Pot on Soho Radio where I take people that that I feel like that always get highlighted. And I did my first one with him. And I made him choose like 3 records that inspired him, and then the first record that he released, and then after that some of the stuff that he produced, and then by the end of it he was like, yo, I don't realise how much I've done, because obviously he's done, you know, Rodney P, he's done Kalashnikov, he's done he's done everybody, you know what I mean? But then he's done stuff with me, and it's like he doesn't really like to hype himself up. Whilst me, I'm like, listen, this is the guy. So the Breakout EP, I was just there up there in Nottingham, and he just played me like five beats. I just wrote them at the time. I don't even remember writing half of the shit that I wrote, but I'm like, oh, this is good. Okay. You know, them ones you're like, oh, this is all right. This is what I'm saying about trusting. Lord have mercy. Oh. So that's how that happened. But at first it started out with just me on it, but then as time kind of progressed and we were waiting for stuff to happen and little things to get out of the way, we ended up getting Rodney P on the feature. We ended up getting Children of Zeus on the feature. We ended up getting Ty and DRS, but everything just kind of aligned perfectly. Oh my God, it's so loud. So the new project is exciting because I I'm going to do an album for myself, but I think that was meant to be for him.
Yeah.
So now so in the way we've called it Joe Budha Presents Terri Walker.
Yeah.
It's a part 2 because we did one before it was called Untitled to Entitled, but that was before the Entitled album. But this one now, I think for me it's for him, but people still keep saying Terri Walker. No, it's Joe Budha. Yes, it's Terri Walker, but it's Joe Budha Presents. Like, it's about his beats. I'm writing stuff over his beats, but it's about his journey. I think
for a lot of people, it's a natural reaction. Like whoever the producer is that they're working with, whether they know them or not, people immediately jump to the artist.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just natural for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Personally, I want to hear both.
Yeah.
Like, if it's somebody presenting, I'm like, okay, so this is your project, but then this is who you managed to get on the project.
Yeah.
So like, Katie Tatham's album, he had obviously Children of Zeus on there and a few other people. But to me, that's his album. That's not like whoever was on it. It's not their stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So obviously being in, I would say you've reached veteran status.
Hey, from you I can tell because I didn't meet for 2 seconds. He's got a lot of opinions. Hey,
no, in terms of obviously
thank you.
No, you gotta give people their flowers while they're still here to smell them and stuff. At this point in your career, like, what is like the goal?
Do you know what? This is the thing. The goal for me is right now. What I think, if I'm being honest, every day is the goal. Because remember, you never stop growing. But I think what has been beautiful for me to see is that I don't have to tell anyone. We need to support each other. We need to talk about each other. Because Children's Zeus have been doing it. Been it. Like, the reason why I'm still standing, literally, that's
no pun intended.
No pun intended. No pun intended. But for real, it's because of. And I think for me, I've reached that goal because I'm here because they've allowed me to still be seen by you lot. Remember, you lot are the younger generation. If it wasn't for them talking about me the way that they do, people might not go and discover me and be like, oh, well, she did stuff from before. Yeah. And because of the respect that they've got, it's not even about me selling my records, but the respect which then makes me want to get up again. Because I feel like without respect, it's hard for me to kind of keep it moving.
To motivate you.
And when you think about even the past stuff, because I think I saw Lauren Hill at Wembley Stadium, and I was actually scared to go see her because I really wasn't. I was hoping that she wasn't gonna.
Stink up the chair.
I'm her biggest fan. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm like, please don't. So when I saw her, and then I was like, oh my God, she killed it. And then, but she said some really good things. She had some really good moments where the whole audience was like, thank you. Because she was talking about, you know, all of our old school veterans and stuff. Like, the reason why they become bitter and stuff like that is because they've paved such a long way, and then they've kind of been dealt like this harsh hand of like, no one gives a fuck, no one cares, no, it's not about you. So she goes, if it wasn't for them, that album, that Miseducation, is old school. It's me, you know, giving homage to the old school. And the reason why it resonates is because it's familiar, but I've made it my own, and I will never ever not ever celebrate them. You know what I mean? And I think that's what I kind of wanted to bring home again with myself when I do stuff. And the people that are celebrating me, I have nothing. I love them. The ones that don't even need anyone else to celebrate. But when it's the right people that celebrate me, it doesn't mean anything what anyone. They could have millions of thousands of followers. When you listen, you know the difference, innit? So, and that's what I think I've reached my goal. But there's more, obviously.